Hi friends, welcome to Network Path. This is the second video in the series of CCNA Labs, and this will be a very basic lab. In this lab, what we are going to do is set console and enable password for the device access security, and we will verify them after doing it. Right now, this is your console, and this is used to, you know, plug in a cable like this one. Right now, this cable you will plug here, and the second end, the other end will go to your PC, and this is basically used to, connect to your device and configure the device. Now, whenever you do the connection, after that you will open the putty software, and in that putty software you will enter a few details and you will get the console access, right? But if it is in a production environment, we have to make sure that the device is secure, and anyone who is using the console cable should input some password, and without password, because without password it will not be secure, right? And whoever is going to change things, do some configuration, should also go through a password prompt, right? So that is why we set console and enable password, because enable gives us the privileged access, right? And console is giving us the access to our router or switch, right? So let's get to the CLI and see how we can enable both the passwords. Okay, so I don't want to continue with configuration dialog. So we are inside our router now, and the first thing that we have to do is set up the console password. I'll do enable and configure terminal. Okay, to configure the console password, you have to type line, and if you do not have any idea, just put question mark and you will see various parameters. So here are the important ones. See, this is console, and this is virtual terminal, right? So these are two most used console lines, right? There is aux as well. See, if you can see in this image, there is aux line as well, right? So basically a line is the various interfaces or various ways through which you can get inside the networking device. Okay, so if you type console, you will set password for that console interface. And if you see virtual terminal, like if you are going to get into device through telnet or SSH, then you are going to use the VTY line. Okay, so first of all, type line, and we are going to set for console, type console, right? So there is only one console, okay? That is why it is showing 0 0, right? The first console is called the line 0, okay? So press 0. Let's see if there is anything after that. No, right? So we are inside line console 0, and we'll see what are the parameters available. So if you can see that this is the one that we are fighting for, okay? Password. So with that, you can set a password. Let's type it, password, and there are two options, okay? Line. First is 7, and second is line. The seventh specifies a hidden password will follow, right? And line. So both are the same things, but the line, if you directly type a password after this password keyword, your password will be in a clear text. So we are going to do that in this tutorial. We will see the remaining what are the twists and changes that we can do here. So let's type your password. I'm typing open here, okay? And let's see if there is anything else. No. So I've set up my password as open. And whenever I'm going to push my console cable inside this port, it is going to ask me for this password, right? Now let's do the exit to check if this is working, okay? And before that, there's the second step as well. Let's check it out as well. The second step was to set password for enable, okay? So this is the enable position. Actually, we are inside the privileged mode already. And to set the password, we will use a similar method. But before setting this, I'll show you something else, right? So let's see if console password is working or not. I'll do exit. Okay. Now it is not asking for any password. See, I'm logging into this, router through the console, and it should ask for me for the password, right? But it is not asking. So let's go and check what is wrong. Okay. We'll go inside by typing enable. See, the enable password works here. The enable prompt. Whenever I type en, it will ask me for password, but we have not set that password yet. Now let's go to router, do the config terminal, and line console 0. We're inside the line console 0, the question mark. Okay. So password was set by us. And what is this thing missing? See, if you look for this parameter, that is login, it is saying that enable password checking. So we have set up the password, but we have not enabled the password checking. That's why it is not asking for any password right away. So what we'll do is type just login. Okay. Simply login. Don't type for local or authentication, right? Because if you type local, it is going to ask for admin username or password, the pair but we have not created any user yet. That's why just type login and press enter. Okay, that will be sufficient enough. Now let's go back, do exit multiple times until we are completely out of the CLI. Okay, now this time it is asking me for the user access verification. It is asking me a password. So my password was open, right? Yes, okay. So I'm inside the router now. I'm inside the router. But if I type enable, it is not asking for password because we have not enabled it yet. Now let's enable the enable password, okay? Let's go to configure terminal, and to enable password for enable, we will type enable, and what's the second thing? Password, right? The second thing is password. And there is again option, see, line. We have to clearly mention our password, and I'm again going to type the same password, open, okay? Now, let's try some other password, okay? Let's try ABCD, okay? So ABCD will be our enable password, and open will be our console password, okay? So these both are different things. Let's go outside, okay? Again out, okay? So the first thing, the console password, open is my console password. I'm inside. Now, whenever I type enable, it is going to ask me for password, and my password was ABCD. Okay, now I'm inside. So someone who is going to access my router or any networking device have to first enter the console password and then has to enter the enable password as well. So there is two times he or she has to insert the password. Okay, so the first step that we were looking for is done. That is set console and enable password for device access security and verify access through console. Okay, so the second thing is also verified. We have verified that the console password and enable password is both are working now. And the third step is to save configuration. Now, why is this important? Because while configuring, let's say my electricity gets cut off, okay, and because of that, my router will be shut down. Very obvious. But the catch here is that the settings that we do, the configuration that we do, is currently residing in a volatile memory. A volatile memory is some memory that vanishes if the electricity is cut off to the device. That's why we have to make sure that we will we move our configuration from the volatile memory to a non-volatile memory, right? That basically in this we call it running configuration and startup configuration. Running configuration vanishes after the device is shut down or reboot, but the startup configuration is there even after the reboot. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it is going to vanish, clear our passwords. Right now it is asking for password. What I'll do is, you can see if you're using the packet tracer, you will see that if you go inside this physical tab, and there you will see that, see this will be our original size of the device. If you zoom in and scroll on the right side, you see there is a button. This is the power button of this router. What I'll do is shut that router down. Okay, so see, I'm not able to access the CLI and it is saying that device must be powered on. What I'll do is I'll turn back the router. Okay, so it is turning on. Booting process is going on. It will take 1 or 2 seconds more because this is a virtual appliance, okay, a virtual simulation, but the actual hardware will take more time than this. Okay, so this time I'll type no, but see, it is not asking for any password now, right? I am connected through the console. It does not ask for the console password. If I do enable, I'm inside privilege mode. It did not ask for any password. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to keep in your keep this thing in your mind, that you have to save configuration, every configuration that you do. Okay, because there is no auto save here. So what we'll do is first we will go and set up the console and enable password again. Okay, so we're inside enable. Now let's go to config terminal. We'll type enable password ABCD. Right now, what we'll do is we'll do line console 0 password open. Right now, don't miss the login keyword. Okay, now what you have to do is write it to the memory. Right, I think we have to go back. Write memory. Okay, see, now your configuration will be moved to the non-volatile memory. There is other way to do this as well. We'll type copy. What we have to copy, that copy from current system configuration. Okay, so we'll type copy running configuration. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense now because we have already copied the configuration, but just for the sake of showing you how this can be done as well, because this gives you a more specific way to copy from one destination to other, right? So we are copying from running config to startup config, right? We'll type enter destination file name startup config. So it is making sure, okay? So we'll type startup or we'll type yes, copy NVRAM, yes, invalid argument. I think it is asking for the startup config name. Okay, correct. So the configuration is saved again. So there are two methods. One is to write memory, and second is to copy running config to startup config. I hope you have understood. Now, if I, you know, let's see if the password is working or not first. I'll do an exit. Okay, it is asking for password ABCD. Open. Okay, open was the password. If I do enable, it is asking the password again. Okay, so the password is working and the password is saved. Let's turn off the device and turn it back on. Okay, it is in the booting process now. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay. Okay, so it is pass. It is asking for the password again. So it has not, the passwords are not vanished, right? So you have to keep these things in mind, right? So this was it for this lab. I hope you understood these basics on how you can set up the console and enable password. If you have any doubt, you can comment down and I'll help you out with that doubt, right? Thank you so much.